Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well and welcome to the next video of this entire series of Azure Active Directory. In the last video, we talked about B2B collaboration. We discussed how B2B collaboration works. We discussed how to invite external users to your Azure AD tenant, how to assign services to the external users, and how to apply Azure AD MFA on external user using conditional access policy. In this particular video, we are going to talk about audit logs and sign-in logs in Azure AD. I will practically demonstrate you how to analyze these logs. To access audit logs, you will go to Azure Active Directory and then you will go to audit logs. Audit logs will help you to find out the activities those are done within your tenant. With the help of audit logs, you can see the changes done on the objects. For example, you can see license assignment logs, object creation logs, object deletion logs. If user was added in a group, you can see who performed the activity, and even you can see on which object that particular activity was done. By default, you can run these logs for either 7 days or 24 hours. If you want to run audit logs for 1 month or 30 days, in that case, you would require either Azure AD Premium P1 license or Premium P2 license. And once you have that subscription in your tenant, you can run audit logs for 1 month as well. So let's analyze these logs and let's see what all information we can get from Azure AD audit logs. So from date, you can select the date range. You can select 1 month, 7 days, 24 hours, or even you can set custom time interval. Like you can add start date and end date, and basis on the date range, you can find the results as well. Next is show dates as. Here you can set if you want to see these dates in local time zone or you want to see this in UTC time zone. So you can check this setting from here as well. Next is services. Under services, you can select what type of logs you want to see. For example, you can search for application proxy logs. You can search for B2C logs or conditional access logs. For example, let's select conditional access. Let me show you. Click apply. So now you will see all the activities, those are performed with the help of conditional access policy. Under service, you can see we have selected conditional access, and now it is giving me all the logs related to conditional access policy. Similarly, you can select other services as well, like MIM service, My Apps, PIM, self-service password reset. You can see all the services also here. So let's select it to all. So next is category. Under category, you can select if you want to see the logs for user activities, activities those were done on the groups, or activities done on an application. For example, if I select user management, so now it will give me all the activities or all the logs those were performed on the user accounts. I can see here all the activities those were done on the account level because I have selected user management category. So in the same way, you can select other categories as per your requirement. For example, device, contact, cross-tenant access settings, or you can select group management. So basis on this, it will give you the results. So let's select all so that we can get all the results. So next is activity. Using this category, you can filter the results on the basis of activities. For example, if you want to see if an activity was done on the user account, what activity was done, whether the attributes were modified or whether a particular user was added within the group or a permission was assigned, a device was added. So you can check all the activities from here. It's a long list of the activities. As per your requirement, you can search for the activity. For example, let's look for an activity like add user. Click apply. So now it will give me all the logs basis on the activity that I have selected, add user. Add user means a user was created within Azure AD tenant. So category is user management because this particular activity was performed on the user account, and this is the name of the activity. In audit logs, you need to check three important things. First is activity. Activity will show you the details, what changes were done on a particular object. Second important thing that you need to check is initiated by or actor. Actor will give you the user principal name or the details of the actor, of the person who has performed the changes. And the third important thing is target. Target will give you the user principal name of the user on which the activity was performed. So let's analyze these logs in detail. Under date, you will see the date and time when this particular activity was performed. Under service, you will see the name of the service. It will tell you on what level the changes were made, whether the changes were made on the directory level or on the application level. Core directory stands for the tenant level. So this user was added within the tenant level. That is the reason it says core directory. These changes were made on the directory level. Under category, you can see the category name. It shows user management. That means the changes were made on the user object. What is the activity? Activity says add user. That means a user was added. Under status, you can see whether the activity was successful or it got failed. And if it will fail, then it will show you the reason. Under target, you can see the user principal name of the user that was created. So this is the user principal name of the user, test user one at domain.onmicrosoft.com, that was created in this tenant. This is the external user that we created in the last video while we were discussing B2B collaboration. And these are the other users, those were created. And the next field is initiated by or actor. As we discussed, under this field, you will see the user principal name or the name of the service who has performed the activity. So here you can see this is the admin account of my tenant who has created this user. This is Microsoft B2B administration because this is the external account that was created because of the B2B collaboration. And this is again the admin account. And this is the Azure AD Connect service account. This PW1 account is synchronized from on-premise Active Directory. So that is the reason we can see the actor as the service account of the Azure AD Connect. Now let's say you want to see more details of these logs. So in that case, what you will do, you will click on any event. And when you will click, it will give you more details. For example, you can see date and time, activity, add user, category, user management, whether this activity was success or it got failed, then initiated by. Under here, you can see type user. Admin account is a user account. This is the object ID of the admin account. This is the IP address from where this admin account made these changes. And this is the user principal name of the admin account. Next, if you will go under target, you will see the name of the user principal name of the user on which the changes were made. So this is the object ID of this user, and this is the user principal name of the target user. And next, modified properties. So under modified properties, you will see what all changes were made on the user account. Under modified properties, you will see old value and new value. But in this case, the old value is blank because this is a new user that was created in the tenant. So that is the reason you will not see old value. Now let's say if you modify an attribute of existing user account, in that case here you will see the old value that was earlier updated on the account, and then you will see the new value, what new value you modified within the account. So for this particular event under new value, you can see all these attributes, those were assigned to the user while the creation. So this is how you can analyze the logs. Now let's create one user and let's see the fresh logs. So let's go to new user, create user, and let's create one test user with name test user 1. I already have. So let's create test user 3 and let's give it a name test user 3. Let's give it a password, usage location, and click create. So this user is created. Let's refresh. So this user is reflecting now. Let's go back to audit logs. So this recent activity is not updated yet within audit logs. You might have to wait for 2-3 minutes. So let's refresh the logs. So these logs are updated. So first we can see user management, add user. Let's open this event. So it says activity add user. This is the date and time. Category user management, status success, initiated by the admin account, and target is test user 3 that we just created. And under modified properties, you can see all the attributes, the values, those were assigned to the user account while creation. And here we can see one more activity that says group management. This is the name of the category. And under activity, it says add member to group. Now, when you create Office 365 tenant, a Teams Office 365 group is created within Office 365. And the type of that team group is org-wide. So whenever you create a user within your tenant, that particular user is automatically added within that Teams group. So this is the activity that we can see here. So it says add member to group, category group management, status success. Now here you can see type is application under initiated by actor. We do not see user because this time this activity is done by the application itself. And you can see display name Microsoft Teams service because that is a Teams Office 365 group in which this particular user is added. And let's go to targets. Under targets, we can see the user principal name of test user 3 that was added within the group. And let's go to modified properties. Here we can see the display name of the Office 365 group in which this particular user was added. And this is the object ID of this group. Now let's assign a license to this user, test user 3. And let's see license level activities. Let's assign Azure Active Directory Premium P2 license, for example. So the license is assigned. Let's go back to Azure Audit Logs, Audit Logs. So we can see the log here. Under category, it says user management. Activity says update user. So let's click on this event and it will give you details like category, status, the actor who performed this activity. Under target, we can see the user principal name of test user 3. And under modified properties, we can see the old value and new value. Now here you can see the old value is blank because there was no license assigned to this particular user account. But under new value, you can see AAD underscore premium underscore P2. That means Azure Active Directory Premium P2 license was assigned to this particular user. So this is how you can check license related logs. Now let's remove the license and let's see what type of activity we will see when we remove the license for this user. So remove the license, click yes, license is removed. Let's refresh. So this license is removed. Let's go to audit logs. So we can see another log that is for user management category and activity says update user. Let's open this event. Let's go to modified properties. And now you can see the old value is the old license that was assigned and new value says blank. So that means this user had Azure AD Premium P2 license, but now this license is removed. And if you want to check who removed it, go to initiated by actor, and here you will see the user principal name of the account who has removed this particular license. Now, if you want, you can analyze these logs from here from GUI, or you can download these logs in CSV file as well. You can click on download, select CSV, and click download. So this will download one Excel file. You can simply go to the Excel file and you can analyze all these logs. So this will give you all these logs. Those are available in this GUI. So now let's go to sign-in logs and let's understand how to analyze these sign-in logs in Azure AD. By default, you can run sign-in logs for 24 hours like Azure AD Audit Logs. You can run it for 24 hours or 7 days. If you want to run it for 1 month, you need either Azure AD Premium P1 license or P2 license. And then you can run sign-in logs for 1 month as well. So from here, you can select the date range. From here, you can select if you want to see the activities date and time in local time zone or in UTC time zone. And from here, you can select the filter on the basis of filters if you want to check the sign-in logs. So under date and time, you will see the date and time when a particular user logged into an application. Sign-in logs will give you the logs of the sign-in activities. Those are done within the applications of your tenant. Under user, you will see the name of the user who has attempted this sign-in. Under application, you will see the application name in which application the user tried to log in. Under status, you will see the status whether the sign-in attempt was success or it got failed. Under IP address, you will see the IP address from where this particular sign-in attempt was made. And under location, you will see the location or the region or the country name from where this sign-in attempt was made by the user. Under conditional access policy, you will see whether a conditional access policy was triggered while the sign-in activity. If it says not applied, that means a conditional access policy wasn't triggered while sign-in attempt. And if it says success, that means a conditional access policy was triggered and basis on the conditional access policy, the action was taken and the user was able to log in, or it got failed according to the action specified within the conditional access policy. And under authentication requirement, you will see either single factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. Single factor authentication will identify or it will indicate that user used only the username and password to sign into the application. But if you see multi-factor authentication, that means while logging to the application, user was prompted for MFA and he provided his second factor of authentication. So this is how you can check the logs. Now, if you want to check the logs in more detail, you can click on the log and here you can see date and time, authentication requirement. Like we discussed, either you will see single factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. Status will show whether the sign-in attempt was success or it got failed. And next you will see the username who tried to log into the application, the user type. You will see the name of the application, which application this user tried to access, and you can see other details as well. Under location, you will see the IP address and the location and the country name from where the sign-in attempt was done. Under device info, you will see the browser name, which browser was used, which operating system was used to log in. You can see these details as well. Under authentication, you will see whether this authentication was single factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. Under conditional access policy, you will see which conditional access policy was applied during the sign-in attempt. Like we discussed, if it says not applied, that means conditional access policy was not applied while sign-in attempt. And if it says success, that means a conditional access policy was triggered during the sign-in attempt. Now, again, if you want, you can analyze the logs from here from GUI, or you can download the file in CSV format, and you can analyze the logs from CSV file as well. So this is how you can analyze the audit logs and sign-in logs in Azure Active Directory. In the next video, we will be talking about device management in Azure Active Directory. We will discuss what are Azure AD registered devices, and I will demonstrate you practically how to register a device with Azure AD. So if you have learned something new from this particular video, please write in comments and please subscribe to the channel and share this channel within your community. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Take care.